Okay, everyone, so welcome again to another one of our lessons. And in this session, I just want to go and build another section, specifically a footer section in our project here. So let's go and try to do that here in our project. And here's the first element that I would want to include into our project, and that will be the heading 2. So let me give this a class name of footer heading 2. So at least I will be able to identify that this is the footer heading 2 inside of the footer section. So I'll be placing here my RBSL's original stories. And again, as I've said, guys, I would really recommend that you go and try to do a project, or not just follow what I'm doing here right now, but try to be innovative in applying your own style. Relate it to a project that you would want to apply. That's just one of the tips that I always tell my students. Be innovative, get some ideas from the project that we are building here. However, try to be creative in your own way. Try to maximize the use of your own layout, design, and try to maximize the use of the things that you're learning here to create your own original concept for a website. I'm just showing you this as a guide. If you want, you can try to build it the same way as I built this website. However, the good thing about you trying to figure out things on your own, you debugging, if ever you're building it not totally the same way I'm doing it, or let's say you're trying to understand and comprehend the use of the different elements that we have here, and then trying to maximize the use of them based from the lectures that we've have so far accomplished. The good thing about that is that if you encounter a problem or an issue, you get to become a problem solver. You try to figure out things. You do your own research. You try to go and do your own research with regards to the concern or the issue that you're encountering. You get to communicate with other members of the community when you post in forums. And I'm highly encouraging that because that's going to be a very normal process or a very normal experience for new developers. You doing your research. I will always repeat myself. That's why I'm saying that you don't have to be totally copying all the things that I'm doing here. I am highly encouraging that you go and try to do a creative approach in building this project that we are working on right now. That just means that you don't have to totally copy everything that I'm doing here, but instead you try to conceptualize a project that you think you can build based from the project that we have so far accomplished here. I just want to go and review the tips that I gave you when it comes to design, and that will be having some inspiration from an old idea and then try to create something new out of that old idea. I am saying this, I'm giving you this as an advice because in the future you might be dealing with a client that would want some customized form of layout or design for their website, and again that will require you to of course figure out things on your own. Now the good thing with regards to you acquiring the skill for researching, reading, and having the proper mindset when it comes to problem solving is that you're already developing the ability, your skills for doing your research when you're encountering an error. Or let's say when you have a question inside of your mind and you would want to go and solve that question, now you get to figure out things, you get to find out that, hey, this is not something that will work. Or let's say, for example, the thing that we discussed here about the community section with regards to the anchor element. And we have a question in our head, is this something that is semantic? So we were able to figure out things because we did our research, right? So it's really just something that I want you to take note of. It's okay that you copy the things that we are doing here, but it's also okay that you try to build a project that is almost similar to the one that we are doing here and try to figure out things. And if you're encountering some problems, at least you will be able to solve those problems on your own through your effort of doing research and figuring things out based from the documentations that you are reading. So that's just my advice to you guys based from my experience in my learning experience as a developer. There are certain things that weren't taught to us. However, out of doing research, I was able to figure things out. And that's the same advice that I can give you, that some point in your learning experience, you will be encountering situations from where you will need to do some of your own research because of an error that you're encountering. And you being able to figure things out is a really great experience, and you will feel really fulfilled when you get to solve some issues that you believe really made it really was so difficult that it really made your head hurt at some point in time, right? So I just wanted to share that, everyone. Now going back here, I would want to have a div footer container, and inside of the div footer container, I would want to also have another div. Let me just that I will be naming. I will be creating a CSS selector that I will call navigation. Okay, and inside of that I would want to have a footer list. So let's first have a footer class that we will call footer list, and inside of the footer list I would want to have some li, at least 5 li. Let me just go and first give this a class name of footer item multiplied by 5. And inside of that I would want to have the first li here. I would want to have a nested h4, and I will be get to know us, and I would want to give this a class name. So I would want to call this class, let's say, because it's inside of the footer section, I'm going to call this heading 4. Okay, and here I would want to have some anchor elements. So let me just go and click here, and I'm going to name this anchor elements footer links. Okay, and let's have some dead links here. And then for the first set of list items inside of our footer list here will be the about us, contact us, and here let's go and try to place here careers. Let's say you have your company and you would want, or your client wants to hire some people, and of course because this is a story website, we can go give some gift cards to our visitors. So let me just go and try to check our browser here. Let's see how that will look. Let me just refresh this. There's our header here. Let's go and apply some styling for our footer. So let's go back to our code editor here, go down here and paste here a comment, so at least we will know that this is the footer section. So let's select the footer element, the element selector here, and then let's give it a color of FFF for the text color. Then text align, I would want it to be centered, and let's have a background color of RGB 9575. Oops. Now let's go and try to save this, and let's first check how that will look in our browser. And there you go. We now have this simple footer here. That's, of course, we will be adding some more additional content here. Now let's go back to our code editor here and let's go and select our footer container, because what I would want to happen here is to have a different background color for the footer container, and I would want to select a little bit of a light blue color here, and then let's give it a height of 40 VH. Now let's try to go and refresh our browser here and see what will happen. Okay, so we were able to separate our heading, which is inside of the main element, the footer element, and we have here the list items inside of our footer container, or the div element with the class name footer container. So that would be all for this lesson, and we will be continuing with adding some more other contents here inside of our footer section in the next lesson. So thank you and see you on our next lessons.